All right, I think I got it. Cool. Okay. Give me, it's almost done. There we go. Got it. We are live on YouTube. All right. Welcome everybody on YouTube. If you're watching live, had a moment there of some technical difficulty, but finally got it working. All right. So let's just give me a one real quick in the chat. You should be looking at my screen that has the broader markets. Beautiful. Thanks, Bill, Amy. Cool. Okay. So good morning, Cindy. So here's where we are. Let me expand here. Let's take a look at, so this is the ES, okay, S&P. So what's interesting, so last Friday I was doing the afternoon room and we had this candle, we had this candle, and then I was thinking, okay, maybe we're gonna, just go sideways a little bit and then push higher. Well, obviously that was not what happened. We just went up. So nice candle there. Nice push on the broader markets to go higher. So what are we looking at now? Well, after we, look at all this buying pressure, right? The lower wicks here and here, right? A lot of buying pressure. So not surprising that this candle went up. Tiny little wicks up on the top and on the bottom. Strong candle, right? So what are we expecting now? Well, of course, we're getting a little bit of a pullback, and that's okay because after we made this push and we had, technically, 4 green candles in a row, not surprising that would pull back a little bit here, take a little bit of a rest, and then push higher. So what are we looking at today? Well, the reality is right now, we are trading inside of this candle, right? So price action inside of this candle. Yes, we're down a little bit from yesterday, but overall the markets are strong. So I'm going to, and the other thing is like I'm looking here today. I've got my scanner up. I'm looking for gaps, and there's not much at all. I'm curious if anybody here has any tickers that you're watching. Like I said, my scanner is coming up with very little, if anything. Nothing on the bullish side. I've got nothing bullish gapping. And then I've got a couple things on the bearish side that we will look at. So Matthew, it's interesting. You said had 2 great days of trading potential, so didn't expect much opportunities today. Yeah, I'm not seeing a whole lot pre-market, right? So just to manage expectations, not seeing a lot in terms of movement. We're going to take a look at all the tickers that I'm looking at, but for now, broader markets, we are pulling back a little bit here. Same with the NASDAQ here. Let's just expand this. Same thing, similar look, right? We not as many green candles in a row, but the same sentiment, right? A lot of, even though this was a bearish candle, it's truly bullish, right? Even though it's red, it's got a lot of buying pressure, long lower wick, moved higher, getting a little bit of a pullback here, right? So not unexpected. And look, this candle right there. I don't see any type of a little tiny wick up top. So that means there was buying right into the close of this candle the other day. So strong candle. And again, nothing is just going to run straight up. So not surprising that we're taking a little bit of a break, right? Market's going to catch its breath and then look to push higher. So let's take a look at the S&P on the 5-minute chart here, just to see what we are looking at right now. So got a little bit of a sell-off initially, right? Coming up here, this could be some type of just like a bear flag. We'll see what happens. I mean, it's still early. It's 9 o'clock. We have, it's 9:07, so we have 23 minutes before the market open. But, just not really nothing moving in any significant way right now. Same with the NASDAQ, right? So we did get some selling here at 8:30, and then we're trying to push back up. We're into these moving averages. So anyway, we'll keep a look on the broader markets. Again, based on what I'm seeing pre-market, I'm not anticipating a lot of activity in terms of trading, just because the tickers that I'm looking at, I'm not seeing a whole lot of movement. But again, we will go through some of the ones that I have identified. So on the SPY here and the Qs, probably get a little bit of a gap down, is my guess. But we're probably going to be trading within, right? So if we look at, here on the SPY, here on the Qs, on the SPY, certainly it looks like we might end up being an inside day. So inside day equals chop. Yeah, Albert, I'll definitely take a look at Goog for sure. Just wrote it down. So if we get an inside day, just be aware. I think you all know by now that inside days typically are choppy. So I'm not looking to get into something that's going sideways or that's choppy. I will be selective with what I look to trade. We'll see how the Nasdaq open or the Qs open up here, right? So we have a wider range of a candle up here on the SPY than we do for the Qs. So anyway, we'll wait and see how how the market opens. Let me get to a different screen here. All right. So here's just the usual suspects, right? That I watch. Actually, I can take Delta out, and I don't really look at that much. But here's Tesla, right? So Tesla, without zooming in here, you can see we're trading inside of yesterday's price action. Nvidia looks like we might be pushing down below, so we'll keep an eye on that one. Amazon, we are right inside of yesterday's price action. We did get higher pre-market, but we are looking like we are inside yesterday's price action. AMD, same thing. We're looking inside, and Shopify here, we're looking inside. So again, I'm going to be very selective in terms of what I look to trade. Let me switch to a different screen, and we'll zoom in on some other tickers. Give me 1 second here. Just stop the share and I'll go to a new one. New screen. All right. So here's Chewy. Okay. We're looking at, here's the daily chart. Again, I was just going through and looking for anything that was potentially gapping. But let's go in and let's take a look at some of the ones I did find, and there's very few. So here's right? So DocuSign, bullish candle yesterday. So there were earnings. Okay. So what's interesting about it is earnings, the estimate was 20, basically 20 cents, and they came in at 82. And then we've got, it's selling off. I mean, that's just a great example of, how the market isn't always rational, right? So you get I mean, who knows what the earnings call contained, and if that was the catalyst for why it's selling off. But even like DocuSign, yeah, we have a gap and go here, but earnings were good. We are trading down below. Let's see. Right now, it's down about just under 8% currently. But look at this. If I zoom in here. So yesterday when it sold off, right, here's this line 49.50, right? That clearly was, look at this long wick here, right? So when the earnings came out and this was the result, I mean, it came down here and then it came right back up. So 49.50 would definitely be a level that would have to keep an eye on if we were going to trade this. I will keep an eye on Docu. I'm actually going to add it to that one chart where I had Delta before. Let me just add it back. Okay, so we'll keep an eye on it, but this 49.50 level is clearly a level of support. So we would just really want to, make sure that we're watching that if we're looking to get into anything on DocuSign. Take a look at Goog for Albert. All right, so what are we looking at here? So Google, yep. So we'll keep an eye on Google. Google did push higher today. pre-market. So let's mark off a couple lines here. So here's the other thing. Look, I mean, you have 5 bullish days in a row, right? On Goog. And it doesn't mean it can't go higher. Of course it can. It pushed up here pre-market. So let's just drop some lines in because we're going to want to know what the pre-market high was. So let's just drop that line in here. So there's our pre-market high. Yesterday's high, let's just drop a line in there so we have that. So we did get a break above yesterday's high. Looks like we're coming back down into yesterday's price action. But here's the other thing, like, let's look at what's the volume look like here, right? So volume, very spotty, right? If you look at these, like 1600, 300. So it's not, there's not a ton of volume, although it's moving. There's not a ton of volume pre-market. So that's one thing to keep an eye on. Like if it does move higher, is that gap going to hold, right? Because if there's a lack of volume pre-market, it's likely that the gap won't even hold. Let me I'm gonna move some things around here real quick because I want to get to a main screen that give me 1 second. I'm working on my laptop, so want to move some things around and make it a little bit easier. All right, there. I didn't like the controls that were floating around there. All right, so there's Goog. I'm curious, does anybody have any other tickers that they're watching? Again, I'm not seeing much at all. I can run through some of the other gap downs that I'm seeing. Like I said, there's Docu. You want to take a look at coin? Sure. Let's take a look at coin. So Goog's on my list, DocuSign, coin. Yeah, so Bill, right? So here we are, right? Yesterday's price action. If you look at it, we are trading right inside yesterday's price action, right? Got some sell-off here pre-market, but if we open up within yesterday's price action, it's just going to be choppy, right? You're going to need to break the higher or the low of yesterday to get some momentum going. And by the way, keep in mind, just to remind everybody, right? So if you're using the 10 EMA strategy, just remember it's a momentum strategy, right? So if you're trading inside, if it's an inside day, there's no momentum, right? You're just trading within yesterday's range. I shouldn't say there's no momentum. There could be, but typically there's not, right? So just be aware that 10 EMA strategy, because it is momentum based, right? You really want to see some type of a break of the high or the low of yesterday's price action. And if you're just trading within yesterday's range, then you're just going to get chopped around. So that is something that I think a lot of people fail to recognize with that 10 EMA strategy, that it really needs to be trending in order for it to be truly effective. And that goes for any moving average, right? So if you're using moving averages in your trading and you have just sideways choppy movement, those moving averages are not going to be as reliable as when things are trending. Let's just take a look. So yeah, so in terms of looking for any type of a trade on coin, Bill, I mean, it's up to you. Right now, like just inside action, inside action. I mean, we can come back to it when the market opens, see what's happening. Just so, Bill, if you're gonna be watching it, just give me a heads up if you see something that you want me to take a look at. Just let me know. I'm gonna run through some of the other. I'm gonna run through my scanner just to see if there's anything else in here that's worth taking a look at. So DocuSign, some of these tickers, Okay, you have a covered call for today at 270. Does it does it expire today? Yeah. Oh, I think you're good, right? I mean, 270, current price action is 256. Yeah, I mean, it's got a pretty good ATR, but okay. Bill, I'm going to keep an eye on it for you. We'll just be curious to see how that moves. But I think you're probably good, covered call. You have single contract or do you have multiple? One contract. Cool. Okay. Well, we'll keep an eye on it. All right. So let's go back here. Let's take a look at some of these tickers. Like I typically, when I am looking for, um, when I'm running through my scanner, right, I'm really just looking for the tickers that I recognize. I mean, there's so many other tickers out there that I don't even know, what the companies do. So instead of wasting a lot of time like sifting through all these, like for instance, this one, let's see, Gen Digital, right? I don't know. I've never traded it, not that I remember. Volume is decent. It is let's see, we are getting some type of a bearish gap and go, but here's the thing, right? So volume is good. So as I scroll across here, right, here's my volume right here. So as I just run my cursor across, I can see that the volume on this is good, right? And yet it is a bearish gap and go, right? So we had a bullish candle yesterday. We're definitely going to be gapping below that. But here's my issue, right? So I need to go, I need to follow my rules, my trading rules. And this only has an ATR of 50 cents, right? So that doesn't qualify based on my trading plan. So even when I'm going through and I'm looking for tickers to trade and I see something like this, I'm like, okay, but it's only got a 50 cent average true range. That's what it's moving per day. So not something that I'm looking to trade. I want to see something that's going to move, right? I want to be in something that's volatile, that's going to get to target quickly, that's not going to just take all day. I don't want to be in an all day trade. Uh, let's see, what else do we have over here? Sunrun. So we do have, I mean, here's another example. So I would, ATR of $1, that's decent. But here's what we're looking at, right? So we have a bearish candle from yesterday and we're gapping down. So it's a retest gap. But then let's look and see so here's the price action currently pre-market, and let's just drop a line in here and see where this, right? So we've already traded pre-market to a target, right? So, yeah. So, okay, Tim, we'll take a look at M in a minute. But so here's this blue line here, and you can see how it's not smooth, it's choppy, right? So that is my 50 uh simple moving average on the weekly chart. So it's overlaid on my daily chart. And that's exactly where price is right now. So pre-market, we've already traded to that level. I mean, I could keep an eye on it. I'll write it down, but again, per my rules, if something is already traded to a target, now that doesn't mean it couldn't go lower. It could. So I will keep an eye on it. But generally, if something is already traded to a target, I'm less likely to want to trade it. Take a look at M. All right, Frank. Yeah, we'll take a look at Baba. Okay, so Macy's. It's crazy that Macy's is still like it has survived. Okay, so yeah, same thing here, right? So Tim, you pointed out, right? So here is again, it's this line right here that's not smooth, it's choppy, and it's purple. So I know that that is my 200 simple moving average on the weekly chart, right? And then we have the 100 uh, on the weekly right below it down here. So again, has already traded to that level, right? It's gotten there. And volume, let's just see, volume. Again, volume, pre-market volume is not great, right? Its total is, let's see, I mean, it might be over 10,000, but you can see it's pretty spotty here. But we've already traded to that target. There is support there. But Tim, if you're going to keep an eye on it, let me know if you see anything. I'm going to write it down. We'll keep an eye on it. But if you take a trade on it, or if you see a setup, just call it out. Baba. All right, where are we with Baba? All right, so we did break pre-market. We did break below yesterday's low. Okay, so but are we currently? Let me zoom in a little bit. So here's again, let's take a look at where we have support here, right here. So here's the that is the 200 on the daily right here. All right, Cindy, we'll take a look in a second. So here's the 200 on the daily, right? That's right there. So if you're going to look to trade BABA, just be aware you've got that is the target, right? So if you're looking to go short here, and right now price action is back above the low of yesterday. So if you are looking to go short on BABA, just be aware of where that 200 is, and then you have the 50 right here as well. But I will write it down, keep an eye on it. All right, let's take a look at Tesla. So I guess Tesla started moving because earlier when I looked at it, okay, so let me get rid of all these lines. Give me a second. So, all right. So Cindy, here's what I'm wondering. Yeah, I mean, technically, right? Is it gapping down? Yes, but it's think about the fear factor here, right? So it's gapping down from yesterday's close, but price is still inside of yesterday's candle, right? So yes, you do have a gap down technically, but when you're looking at the gaps and you're analyzing gaps, it's all about fear and greed. So is the gap creating fear and greed? So anybody who went bullish yesterday here, right? Are they freaking out? It's like, well, no. I mean, probably not psyched that it's gapping down a little bit, but they're the fear factor is not there, right? So yes, it's gapping, it's and price action is within yesterday's candle. So there's not that, that intense fear that's going to be created by this gap. So again, inside day, right? And so if price action is inside yesterday's trading range, just expect it there to be chop, right? Just be aware. Um, Amazon was one pre-market that looked like a potential, broke higher. So Amazon, let's see, yesterday, let me zoom in. So here's yesterday's high. We did break above it initially pre-market, came back down below it. We're now trading within yesterday's range again. So I'll keep an eye on it. If it can break above that, um, maybe we'll see a setup. I'm just going to drop a line in here to show me so I know where the pre-market high is. Yep, Donna, let's take a look at Microsoft. So come back to Amazon later. Microsoft. All right, so there's yesterday's high. So we did break above it. Let's drop a line in here to show us where the pre-market high is. Just so we have it. So we're back down into yesterday's range. I'll keep an eye on it, Dan. The I would love to see a bit of a better gap than what we're looking at right now. And right now we're back into yesterday's trading range. So and also this pre-market level, this pre-market high is pretty close. I would have liked to have seen a bit more of a range in terms of, because that is definitely a level that we would have to keep an eye on if we go bullish on this. Um, saying Dan saying looking bullish above the hammer, this hammer from yesterday, right? Yeah. Yeah, of course. So if you do get that break above that, yes. And looks like it's attempting. Okay. So we'll keep an eye on Microsoft as well. So what I want to see is I want to see because the pre-market high is right here, Dan. I would want to see us get a break above that and hold above that level, right? And then possibly look to get in on a limit buy, right? So after that, have a stop buy at 42, 425, 38. Okay, so you're looking to get in. What's the high here? All right, so you're just looking to get in right away, right? I think that's your plan is you're just looking to get into it. Um, the break above that high, you're just going to just get in, which is fine. Let's take a look at your other ticker there. It's a Palo Alto Networks. Okay, so just be aware, right? Here's our 50 on the daily, right here. Yes, we are getting a gap down. It's a bearish gap and go right now. Again, very spotty, right? This, I mean, the pre-market volume here is like you may not even get a gap on this, right? It's 245 shares there, 100, right? So you're talking about a couple hundred shares traded pre-market. So you may not even get any type of a gap, right? Uh, okay, let's go Walmart. So Walmart, right? So we are looking at, so made new highs yesterday, potentially gapping up or moving higher. I mean, I'll mark it all off. We'll keep an eye on it. So there's the high from yesterday, right? Again, volume pre-market, not great. All right, looks like the market just opened. Okay, so market just opened. Um, I will take a look at let me see, there was one more, NVIDIA. Anna, yeah, take a look at that. Let me real quick, give me a second. We just need to log, say goodbye to everybody on YouTube. Thanks for being with us. Please feel free to come on over to reallifetrading.com, join the community. Great group of traders. We do this every single day during the week from 9 to 12 and would love for you